Let's go! Before we actually get into my obvious #1 game of the year, I do want to take a minute because, again, these are just games that I played this year. I didn't get to play everything. There's a lot of amazing games that came out this year. Metroid Dread. You know, I've never played a single Metroid game. Didn't really think I should play it until I maybe played some other Metroid games. I heard it's really amazing, though. Ratchet & Clank. I've only played one Ratchet & Clank game. I didn't feel like I was qualified to play, and I also don't have a PS5, so that's also a factor. Gosh, Returnal. I don't have a PS5, so I couldn't play Returnal. A lot of great games that came out this year that are really good games, probably very well deserving of being Game of the Year, but I just didn't get to play them. So this, you know, just kind of a reminder, this is the list of games that I played, but I mean, #1, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. Neo: The World Ends With You, and I said this in a video that I did after I finished the game. This is genuinely the best sequel I've played since Kingdom Hearts 2. And Kingdom Hearts 2, if you don't know, is my favorite game of all time. It's very difficult for me to actually find things that I didn't like about this game. I'm sure this game has flaws. I don't think any game's perfect, but like, there was so much good in this game that I couldn't even think of any flaws. Like, everything about this game just overrided any flaws that could be in this game. It's funny because I played TWEWY 1 in February of this year. I got into The World Ends With You because these characters, not these characters, but the TWEWY 1 main cast, they pop up in Dream Drop Distance in Kingdom Hearts. And so I was like, I eventually want to play The World Ends With You, and I played it in February. And then Neo came out a few months later. And gosh, like, probably TWEWY 1's story and characters, I was hooked. So I was incredibly excited for this game, and I'm gonna be honest, I think TWEWY 1 and Neo stand out separately on their own because they are very different games. For example, I think TWEWY 1, the stakes are higher in the story, if you ask me. At least throughout the story, you know, like the stakes really rise up in week 3, especially at the end of Neo. But in week 1, like TWEWY 1, you've got you have to go day by day, right? You have to do a mission day by day, you're getting erased. So like the stakes are higher. But I think Neo: The World Ends With You, I think I'm probably gonna go revisit this game more than going to revisit TWEWY 1. As much as I actually personally enjoyed the motion controls in TWEWY 1, that's kind of like a hot take. People don't really like the motion controls. I loved it. I didn't freaking care. But this game was so fun to play. Actually grinding out enemies in this game doesn't feel like a chore. It's actually fun to engage in combat. It's funny, I feel like the combat is so unique. I feel like I'm playing a mix of like Final Fantasy XIV with doing pin rotations and stuff, but I also feel like I'm playing a fighting game at times because of how I'm like timing all of my pins to work together and like comboing, but I also feel like I'm playing a rhythm game with like the freaking beat drop and the groove and stuff like that. It's like there's so many elements of other games in this game's combat that are kind of like that are meshed in that makes this game's combat unique and the gameplay really fun. Dude, I spent a lot of time after finishing the game just off stream just fighting enemies because I wanted to get to level 80 to do the Another Day dive. I was not bored. I was just having a blast trying out different pins. There's countless combinations of pins that you can try out, endless possibilities almost of just moves that you can do with pin combos and just like how you set up your pins. I also think like what makes the combat so fun is the battle quotes. I love battle quotes and just like banter in combat in any game. So just like having that in this game made it so much more fun because it's like there's so many lines and like there's like each character has like different lines depending on what pins you equip to them and like just kind of like exploiting the battle quotes and like the beat drop like banter and stuff was a lot of fun. And like it doesn't get old. Like it doesn't get old. Fighting enemies in this game doesn't get old. There are annoying enemies in this game, but like I didn't even care. because I was having a blast just playing the game, you know? So much love and passion, so much love and passion. So much love and passion was put into this game. I agree. The voice acting, from what I understand, a lot of these voice actors are newer and up-and-coming voice actors. You know, they haven't had like really a lot of big roles before. Some of the best voice acting I've heard in a long time. Sheba's voice performance, best voice performance in the game. Sheba's voice actor crushed it, dude. Absolutely crushed it. Every time he spoke, I had chills. Every time. Almost every time he spoke. You could tell, especially, and even there's like, I mean, there's a moment where like Rindo, like Paul Castro freaking killed it as Rindo. Whenever Shoka is like kind of like not really sure like what side she's on, there's like a line that he says, he's just like, it's not like you were really with us anyway. And you could feel the actual frustration and the effort in his voice to deliver that line. I was like, dang, dude. There was so much love put into this game. Not just the voice acting, but like the way that they wrote these characters and the way that I really like that like they introduce you to this new cast of characters. And even though this is a sequel to Toy 1, the focus is on this new cast. These characters develop and they grow. Every single one of them does. Even Nagi. You know, I think Nagi probably has the least amount of growth out of all of them, but she does grow a little bit, right? She learns to actually talk to Fret normally at the end and not hate him, right? Like, it's just like small stuff like that. But not only that, but it keeps, Neo keeps Tooie fresh, but also I think has the perfect amount of fan service. Each week you have somebody there from Tooie 1. So like week 1, Sho Minamimoto, my favorite character in the whole franchise. He is accompanying this new cast of characters for all of week 1. So it's like you've got your new cast, but you also have a familiar face with you for the fans, right? You know, to keep it interesting. Week 2, Beat shows up. Sho Minamimoto leaves, Beat shows up, bro. And now Beat is like, he's the big brother of the group. He's the protector. He's looking out for everybody because he's been through this before. And then week 3, I mean, I don't have time to talk about the whole freaking game, but like week 3, day 4 was the best day in all of Tooie. Sho Minamimoto shows up out of nowhere after being gone for so long. You get a Sho Minamimoto boss fight. It wouldn't be Tooie without a Minamimoto boss fight. And then Neku shows up to save the day. And then it's like, where have you been? At the end, when they brought all of the old characters back, Rhyme, Joshua at the very end, having Izuki and Kadia sprinkled throughout the plot, and having them actually help you in the end, which is really cool. Coco, Shiki. It's a really good sequel. It's such a good sequel. One of the best sequels I've ever played. Because it's very satisfying, especially if you played the first game. The Neku and Shiki reunion broke me, dude. It freaking broke me. Oh, man. One of the most beautiful moments in that game, and there's a lot of love put into this game. I don't really know what else to say, honestly. The soundtrack, I listen to the Neo soundtrack every day. I listen to it while I'm at work. It's so good. Like, you would not know that this was a soundtrack from a freaking video game, dude. And it was fun. Like, just the adventure was fun. It was just fun, dude. I haven't felt this way about a game in a long time. I don't really know what else to say. It's kind of really hard to put into words. This is probably the most fun I've ever had streaming a game. Ever. In the history of this channel. I'll say this, because I don't want to get it twisted. Kingdom Hearts, still my favorite franchise of all time. That will always be my favorite series. Crash Bandicoot is a close second. But Neo The World Ends With You made Tooie, I think, probably tied for my 3rd favorite franchise, right next to Sly Cooper. And even though Kingdom Hearts, even though we've streamed Kingdom Hearts on this channel, this is the most fun I've ever had streaming a game. And that's all I can really say. Like, please go buy Neo. Please play this game. You will not regret it. If you don't want to play the first game, watch the anime. It does a great job of summarizing the first game. Check out the playthrough. This was a fantastic time. I can actually confidently say I've never had more fun streaming a game than this game. They refined the gameplay of Tool for modern audiences. Yes, Nioh refined the gameplay. That's perfect. I could have said it better myself. For them to have such a well thought out game, and for the second game in the series, that takes skill. Exactly. I expected a bit more from the story in Nioh, but other than that, loved everything in it. Can't really say it's better than the first. Both are great in their own way. Be it the story gameplay, but man, I hope we still get more in the future. Yeah, I'll say this. I think the story in the first game is like peak. The story in the first game is so good. This game, I would say, because I love the story in this game overall, it was just more fun to play. Not just fighting, but just like talking to people, interacting, like scenes with characters, having characters interact. I think this game for me was more fun, but I do like the story for Tool 1 a little bit more. Beat is so funny. Yeah, I really like, I think Nioh actually made me like Beat more. I like Beat more because of Nioh, if that makes sense. Not gonna lie, I didn't have issues with the first game's controls, and it's what made it so unique. Playing with touch controls, though, and I loved every bit. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't have a problem playing motion controls because it was just a change of pace. This is just like the year of Tool for me. Like, Tool was just a highlight year-round for me, because I played both games this year. Both games, they were just games, you know, whenever you just play a game, it just hits you at the right time. Like, it's just a game that you just play at the right time in your life. That was Tool 1 and Nioh for me. That's why I enjoyed it so much. Like, it just hit me at the right time. It was a game that I just needed. Natural way of how sequels work. Making characters from the past better, and B got the best of it out of all the characters from the first game. I agree. I actually agree with that. Out of all the characters from the first game, Beat for sure for me. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That is it for my top games this year. These are all great games. You can find all these playthroughs on the channel with the exception of Monster Hunter. So if you want to check them out, please check them out. Even though there wasn't like a lot of like big hitters overall this year in terms of like, there was no like God of Wars, there was no like Final Fantasies, Kingdom Hearts, like stuff like that this year, you know what I mean? It was definitely like a niche year, I feel like, for gaming, but there were still some really good games that came out this year. And I'm grateful for the games that I got to play and experience, because some of these games I'll probably remember for the rest of my life, to be completely honest.